Okay guys, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Only Solo Podcast, and this is episode 94 of my side quest. Now in this episode, we're going to be talking about the recent British heavyweight title win of David Adeleye against Jeamie TKV. Now this was a fight that, since this happened, has been, steeped in controversy and criticism from the referee, where it did end controversially, where David Adeleye hit Jeamie TKV when the referee said break. Hit him, dropped him, knocked him down. Jeamie TKV got back up, but he was severely rocked. And then David Adeleye put in the final touches and finished him off. Now, like I said, it was a tough fight. To be fair, I would say Jeamie TKV had been winning all the rounds, arguably. Jeamie TKV was looking like the much better boxer against David Adeleye. Right, where David Adeleye looked like he was biting on feints really easily, wasn't really working his jab at all, was trying to get by more in his physicality, and when that wasn't working, Jeamie TKV was just outboxing him, right? And it's a shame to see, because I really am a fan of David Adeleye. I think he's a really good boxer with a lot of potential in the heavyweight division. A big guy, muscular, from the hood, sort of like these sort of sides, right? I mean, he is from these sorts of sides. Like, I go into boxing gyms that I train at, there's posters of David Adeleye on the wall. Maybe, I don't think I've just doxed myself there, but, right, like, I'm a fan of David Adeleye, nonetheless. But he was getting outboxed by Jeamie TKV. He was getting outboxed, and I know David Adelaye's response to that was, well, Jeamie TKV did the same thing to him when the referee was saying break. Jeamie TKV was still trying to carry on punching, which is factually correct. Jeamie TKV did do the same thing as that, but really, when the break happens, people say when you say break, you shouldn't lower your guard. In theory, I understand that, but if you're breaking, neither guy is punching, so you can lower your guard, right? Because you're not expecting to get punched until you reset, right? So when people say that, when people say you shouldn't lower your guard at a break, I completely understand why you would lower your guard at a break. I would do this. Honestly, I would do the same thing. Right? I would do the same thing because, like I said, you're not expecting to get hit until you successfully reset. Right? So Jeamie TKV and Jeamie TKV's camp rightfully were very annoyed and want to get that rematch. I think David Adeleye seems pretty willing to do that as a rematch. I think the rematch is always going to be a bigger money fight for both of these guys. I could see them getting some serious money on this if this was an event. I think this was on DAZN, but say this was on a boxing pay-per-view for DAZN or wherever. I think both guys could get a much better payday in this second fight. And I think the build-up for this first fight was, like thunder at times, or like lightworks firing at times. They would be getting mad aggressive. Jeamie TKV would be giving it back. Neither guy was allowing themselves to be really bullied, and they were both really going at it with the verbal jabs before the fight. So no doubt the build-up for a rematch would be even greater, right? But it's hard to go with David Adeleye in the rematch, though. Because, yes, we know David Adelaye's a big puncher. He can knock these guys out, like he did with Jeamie TKV, because he did drop him. He didn't have enough power in his hands to drop Jeamie TKV, right? So he's got enough power to drop him. Mentally, a guy like Jeamie TKV will know that now, like, oh, this guy can drop me. Now maybe when in the rematch he might be more gun-shy, and then David Adeleye could potentially really take over the fight in that way. But like I'm saying, it's hard to go with David Adeleye just because Jeamie TKV was arguably, in my opinion, right? Maybe some people disagree, but I think Jeamie TKV was pretty much outboxing him that entire fight. Even in the rounds where he may not have won, even though I think arguably he won all the rounds, even in the rounds he may not have won, he was still largely outboxing David Adeleye. Like, if David Adeleye was winning rounds, it's because of his, animosity and his physicality and his, power punches putting him on the back foot, right? But yeah, I think, in my opinion, if I was the ref, I would have called David Adeleye disqualification straight away. Like, once you hit a guy bad enough for him to be dropped on a break when you shouldn't be punching, like, you don't recover from that in a fight, right? If you're getting dropped, the amount of time it takes for your brain to recover, I don't even know the official amount in terms of the science, but there's a reason why after guys get concussions in boxing and MMA, they go on medical suspension for a long time, right? Because they are serious brain injuries. That very serious brain injuries, right? But we'll see, man. We'll see if David Adeleye gives Jeamie TKV his rematch. It looks like it's heading that way. No doubt would be a pretty fun match like this first one was. I would say fun. It wasn't a super, super high level match. But mostly because David Adeleye, was sort of boxing so poorly, I'll be honest. Like, he was biting on all of Jeamie TKV's feints. And he was... Because David Adeleye trains with, Josh Kelly and Adam Booth, I think he thinks he's like them. But David Adeley's not like them. And he shouldn't try and be like them. That will be one of the only things holding David Adeleye back in his boxing career, is if he tries to box like how Adam Booth trains his fighters to box and like Josh Kelly boxes. Because it doesn't suit him. It's, you know what I mean? That's not what he needs to be doing, right? But yeah, episode 94 of the Seth Side Quest in the bag. What did you think of the David Adeleye stoppage? Do you think he's cheated? Do you think, he should be disqualified for that? Who have you got in the rematch? Do you think Jeamie TKV can win in the rematch? Or do you think, the mental warfare will get to Jeamie TKV even more this time and it'll be enough for David Adeleye to win? Be curious to know what you guys think. But I'm out. Peace.